got more to say than I have time to do it in. So I'm gonna jump right on into this. And first, I want to give honor to the Most High and the Creator of my life, my family's life, and your life too. We're gonna start this today with the definition of art because I really can't go on and speak about it until we get this definition out of the way. Here's some of the definitions of art.
Skill as a result of learning or practice. Sense of skill, cunning and trickery, first attested late 16c.
I couldn't make this up if I tried. Check it out.
Sense of skill, cunning and trickery, first attested late 16c. Sense of skill, cunning and trickery, first attested late 16c.
This is not what I learned in school. Yeah, I know there's more than one definition. We've always known that. But I mean, when we use it on a daily basis, every day, we always end up using the term art as if it's a picture on the wall, something your children bring home from school. We never really look at it from the standpoint of law, as in an artful term or a term of art.
Art to fit together, etymologically akin to Latin armor weapons. Art to fit together, etymologically akin to Latin armor weapons.
Art of war actually translates to weapon of war.
Etymologically akin to Latin armor weapons.
Art of war.
Etymologically akin to Latin armor weapons.
So from now on, whenever you hear the term art, then make sure you know just the two letters alone, AR, means weapons alone. Just AR by itself. Art is a weapon. I didn't make that shit up. You just saw it right there on etymological.com. Or however they pronounce it. You know what I'm trying to say. And if not, keep following me. Here is some primary source art called Liberty Triumphant. Basically what it is a picture of the colonialists arriving in America, and the Indians, the Aboriginals, are there to defend their land. But what are they defending it against? I mean, the first thing this lady on the caricature says is, aid me and my sons and prevent me being fettered. Prevent me from being fettered. In these day and times of the coronavirus, 2020, the first quarter, this term fettered comes into play again. And what is the definition of fettered? Fettered goes on to say, hey, it's a matter of being constrained and confined and restrained, refined and constrained, or confined and restrained. That's not good, people.
Restrain.
It's not good. Because they've been fighting for this since the colonialists arrived. Come on, man. Follow me on this now. Yeah, like Michelle A. said, come on, CeeLo. Come on, CeeLo. It even gets more interesting because you actually end up seeing who the Aboriginals are fighting and what it is that they're actually fighting against. They're fighting the colonialists, and they're actually fighting against their artful terms. They're fighting against their laws. So if you will, allow me to grab my loop, or lupe, as my man Stephen H. likes to say it, from Kansas City. We take a closer look at this band here, and it says, we must manage this business with a great deal of art. A great deal of art. Or I see we shall not succeed. So they're going to go about their business with a great deal of art. In other words, a great deal of lawful terms to take control of your land. But our people were not going. These people fought for freedom. What are you doing today? I need to know. I'm not a church goer, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I do need y'all on my team. Today is the time where y'all should be standing up for your right to worship and to serve. This is becoming a matter of the state and the church, or a battle between the state and the church. You're actually being restrained and confined. These are Indian tales. This is quite alarming. Y'all need to know there was really no problem in America when there was an Indian queen. The Americans didn't have a problem with that. The only time this became an issue is when the colonialists or the colonials showed up in America And they saw that Indians of different tribes, different skin tones, all stood behind this woman in one particular manner, which was for freedom. Yeah, when it came down for protection for the mind, body, and soul, the Aboriginal or the original people really didn't care about sacrificing their body. That was the last thing they cared about. It was time to get it on as soon as the colonials arrived, because they knew they were fighting for freedom for their mind, body, and soul. One without the other does not exist. So the first one that they figured they'd let go was their body, and you see it with their fights here. So what? King Goldie had a few nuggets that they wanted. They didn't have to take your freedom at the same time. They come here, they've added us into their cunning and their trickery and their terms of art. We see it in front of us. We act like it's some type of an illusion. There's some type of Illuminati is going on. Man, y'all can see what's going on in front of you. Just don't want to do anything about it. So look here, United States of Americans, it's actually time to reunite as Americans. All of this black Indians, white Indians, Moors, Afghanistan's Asians, it doesn't matter what you are. At this juncture, there's a new king in town. And the king wears a new crown. Yep, this time the new king in town is actually a virus that wears a crown. Now, this particular virus y'all have seen for the last week or so has actually been ruling your lives. Or has it? Or has it been new laws that have been ruling your lives? As in shelter in place. Or social distancing. These are new laws that's going to come into play. And with these social distancing laws, I please want y'all to take into consideration that you actually lost your ability to attend church. You cannot tell me the new king is a virus that outrules your ability to assemble and have service to give homage to your God. This cannot be. So I'm letting y'all know it's a different program into play right now. And it's not so much about your rights, it's about their rights and their ability to rule you. This cell phone thing, with all of these different cell phones over the time, or over the since early 1990, there's actually been a vaccination that has come out. Every time there was a new technology that was come into play, it could be 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, now 5G. There's going to be a vaccination that's going to come into play. But this vaccination that's going to come into play, okay, let them play their game, but it still should not rule your ability, your ability to stand your ground when it comes to standing for the law. By nature, you have the right not to be confined or restrained. Stand. Please stand. I actually believe we had a power to end the game before it even starts. I mean, seriously, people, who has the power to cure? God or man? Game over. Y'all already know the answer to that. But if y'all believe in these vaccines, think again. Trust me, there is no such thing as being ill and you have a dry cough. It must be wet for you to be ill. Stop the madness. Any physician will be able to tell you what I just said. That's not rocket science.
1986, some $800 million have been awarded to injured children or their parents through this system, yet the medical profession incredibly continues to deny any causal connection between vaccinations and brain damage. They maintain that spontaneous neurological dysfunctions are not uncommon in childhood and therefore a significant number of them will occur soon after vaccination, since these are given so frequently in childhood. So, again, incredibly, in the over 40 years since vaccinations have been in large-scale use in this country, not one prospective, case control study on vaccinations has ever been done. And yet there is no other research method which is as free from ambiguity and bias as this. There are few areas of science where the ideal of an unbiased, open-ended approach to gathering data is so thoroughly debased as in vaccine research. Barbara Fisher perceives quite clearly that vaccine policymakers are motivated by a zeal to control and conquer nature that is not only futile and anachronistic in this age of ecology, but is morally unjustifiable as well. The words of Gandhi pertain. Any action dictated by fear or coercion of any kind ceases to be moral. Words of Gandhi pertain. Any action dictated by fear or coercion of any kind ceases to be moral. Ms. Some of the greatest philosophers in history have acknowledged that the very meaning of life itself, in great part, hinges on the ability of the individual to choose his own fate. Aristotle, that masterful defender of empirical knowledge and creator of virtue ethics, insisted that wisdom and moral virtue comes from within each individual, from cultivating the feelings that cause us to act in compassionate, truthful and noble ways. Aristotle's respect for man's unique ability to reason and choose to be virtuous convinced Thomas Aquinas, who in turn convinced a threatened Catholic Church that religion did not have to be afraid of acknowledging man's ability to discover truth through reason and sense experience as well as through spiritual revelation. Rudolf Steiner's comments, see excerpt below, leave no doubt about the hidden agenda behind the plan to vaccinate all the world's children with as many vaccines as possible, thus devastating their spiritual development. Rudolf Steiner's comments, see excerpt below, leave no doubt about the hidden agenda behind the plan to vaccinate all the world's children with as many vaccines as possible, thus devastating their spiritual development. I found it very disappointing that so few anthroposophists were present at a public conference on an issue that so profoundly affects the spiritual and physical development of an entire generation of Americans. In the future, when more enlightened minds will look back to today and will judge our misguided vaccination zeal, I hope they will be able to say that anthroposophists were among those with the discernment and the courage. Let us not be deceived, we are facing a movement which has very definite aims. Just as at the Council of Constantinople the spirit was abolished, that is to say, the dogma was established that man consists of body and soul only, and to speak of spirit is heretical. Established that man consists of body and soul only, and to speak of spirit is heretical. Established that man consists of body and soul only, and to speak of spirit is heretical. Attempts of a different character will be made to abolish the soul, man's life of soul. And the time will come, perhaps in a future by no means far distant, when at a congress such as the one held in 1912, diametrically different trends will become manifest, when it will be said, if a man thinks at all of spirit and soul, that is a pathological symptom. Those individuals who speak only of the body, they alone are healthy. It will be regarded as a symptom of illness if a human being develops in such a way that he can conceive of the existence of a spirit or a soul. It will be regarded as a symptom of illness if a human being develops in such a way that he can conceive of the existence of a spirit or a soul. It will be regarded as a symptom of illness if a human being develops in such a way that he can conceive of the existence of a spirit or a soul. It will be regarded as a symptom of illness if a human being develops in such a way that he can conceive of the existence of a spirit or a soul. Such people will be considered to be ill. And of this you may be sure, the corresponding medicament will be discovered and used. On that past occasion the spirit was abolished. The soul will be abolished by means of a medicament yet to be discovered. A healthy outlook will lead to the discovery of a vaccine which will be injected into the human organism in earliest infancy, if possible immediately after birth, to ensure that this human body never has the idea that a soul and a spirit exist. A healthy outlook will lead to the discovery of a vaccine which will be injected into the human organism in earliest infancy, if possible immediately after birth, to ensure that this human body never has the idea that a soul and a spirit exist. A healthy outlook will lead to the discovery of a vaccine which will be injected into the human organism in earliest infancy, if possible immediately after birth, to ensure that this human body never has the idea that a soul and a spirit exist. This indicates the sheer contradiction between two conceptions of life. The adherents of one will have to reflect how to develop concepts and ideas able to keep pace with reality, with the reality of spirit and soul. The others, the followers of the modern materialists, will seek for the vaccine said to make the body healthy, that is to say, affects its constitution in such a way that man no longer speaks of such twaddle as soul and spirit but speaks, from a sound attitude, of forces working in machines and in chemistry and producing planets and suns in the cosmic nebula. This attitude of mind will be induced by bodily procedures. Materialistic doctors will be entrusted with the task of driving souls out of human beings. Materialistic doctors will be entrusted with the task of driving souls out of human beings. Materialistic doctors will be entrusted with the task of driving souls out of human beings. Rudolf Steiner, The Crumbling of the Earth and the Souls and Bodies of Man, given in Dornach the 7th of October, 1917. Reprinted from Anthroposophical Quarterly, Volume 19, Number 1, 1974, and Mercury Press.
Look here, people. From now on, I need y'all to know you cannot put God on curfew. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about putting out a warrant for his arrest. If the people want to go to church, people go to church. I'm out. Peace.